Welcome. This is Tampa Home Talk, and I'm your host, Katrina Madewell. Today's show is going to be a market update for November of 2025. So, what I'm going to be giving you is a market update for the Greater Tampa Bay area to include 4 counties: Hillsborough County, Pasco County, Pinellas County, and Hernando County. I'm going to give you the single family market update and an update for condos and townhomes. I don't necessarily like those combined, but we get our data from Florida Realtors, and that's how they do it, and that's how we're going to project it. So let's talk about some of the stuff we're seeing in the market and some of the trends. Now, I'll look at this compared to November of 2024. So the number of closed sales from November 2025 to November of 2024, it's only down 2.8%. So November, 4 counties, there was almost 2,600 sales coming in at 2,591. The number of cash buyers is down 14.1%. In November, we had 638 cash buyers in those 4 counties compared to 743 last November 2024. The median home price is down just a little, 1.5%. Last year in November was $406,000. The median home price for single family homes in November of 2025 is coming in right at $399,900. The average sales price, your median is more of your right in the middle. That's most of your traffic. But our average sales price is coming in at 4.5% lower at $493,232. And that's down from November of 2024 when it was at $516,528. Our dollar volume overall numbers that we've seen move in terms of sales is down 7.2%, and that's coming in at $1.3 billion for the month of November 2025 in 4 counties for single family homes. The median percentage of the original list price. So what does this mean? If it's listed, for example, for $100,000 and it sold for $95,000, that would be 95% of sale price. And so that is down about 1%. Last year was at 96%. This year, homes are selling for about 95% of what they're listed for, according to the median data. The median time to contract, that's up a little bit. Last year in November, it was around 39 days to get a contract on your home, which was a little over a month. This year, we're knocking on almost 2 months. We're up 28.2%, coming in at about 50 days to get a contract on your home in Tampa Bay in November. The median time to sale from the time you list your property till the time you close is about 8.8% higher, and that's coming in at about 87 days compared to 80 days in November of 2024. The number of pending home sales is also down 6.8%. For the month of November, there was 2,878 homes that went pending in the 4 counties that were single family homes. And that's up a little bit, or down a little bit rather, from last year in November, which was 3,088. The number of new listings, this is interesting. New listings are also down. So not as many people are actually putting their home on the market. So last year in November, there was 4,490 people that put their home on the market in November. This year, there was only 3,268. So that's down 27.2% over last year. The pending inventory is down just 0.5%. It's coming in at almost 3,900 people went pending. So 3,898 to be exact. And the number of active homes on the market right now in the month of November 2025 was 12,505. And that is up 8.7% over last year, which brings our absorption rate at a 3.8 month supply of homes in November compared to 3.6 months in November of last year. So what does this mean? A 3.8 month supply of single family homes here in the Tampa Bay market? Well, quite frankly, this suggests that our median, like all of Tampa Bay in general, is still in a seller's market. And that might sound crazy, but that's slowly been trending up. Once we get to a 6-month supply of homes, a 6 to 12-month supply of homes is considered a balanced market. So, largely speaking, we are still in a seller's market here in Tampa Bay with a 3.8 month supply of homes for single family homes. What I will tell you is this varies widely from one community, one neighborhood to the next. Pretty common that we see this. And I'll go into some neighborhoods where there's no inventory at all. And when we list this property, we're going to be the only active home. So that's definitely still a seller's market in that particular community. There's other communities we'll go in and there's multiple properties listed active, very few pending, and then some sold. Some of those particular communities might be more of a balanced market. However, overall, in Tampa Bay, we're a 3.8 month supply of homes, which means we're still in a seller's market, surprisingly. To many of you that think the sky is falling, it actually is not. Let's talk about a couple of other pieces of data before we go on to the condo and townhome data for November of 2025. One of the things I'd like to chat about is sort of that middle of the road pricing and give you an idea where all of the activity is. So when I look at the closed home sales by price, it's interesting to give you an idea. They break it down, less than 50,000, there was 2, 50,000 and 99,999, there were 6. There was 26 and 100 to 149,999, 77 sales from 150 to 199,999, 147 sales from 200 to 249,999. There was 274 sales from 250 to 299,999. Now, the bulk of our activity, which means most of the home purchases are happening in that 300,000 to 599,999 price. There were 774 homes that sold in November in those 4 counties that were single-family homes between 300,000 and 399,999. That is great for affordability, and that change is actually up just a little in that lower price range from over last year. Not quite a 0.5%, but coming in at 0.4%. Now, the higher price bracket, which there's still a lot of traffic, 772 homes in November sold between 400,000 and 599,999. That's down that price range 2.6% from November of last year. And the homes that are between 600,000 and 999,999, not yet in that $1 million price mark, 380 of those. So that's even higher than the 250 to 299 price mark. And that's down that price range from 13.4% of November of last year in 2024. Now, $1 million or higher single family homes, that's down 15.8% from November of last year. We had 133 of those homes that sold just over $1 million in the Greater Tampa Bay area, including 4 counties. A couple other pieces of data. I want to look at the inventory by current list price. So a lot of the current inventory, meaning at the end of November when we pull it, there was most of the pricing activity is right around that 400,000 to 599,999. There was 3,838 inventory active on the market in that price range. When you look at 300 to 399,999, there was 3,239. So the bulk of your homes are going to be right in that 300,000 to 599,999 price range. And I already told you that the median price was right around that 399,900 price. The average price was 493,232. So that suggests there's still a lot more activity bumping just a little bit above that $400,000 price point. One other thing I want to talk about, which is really important, there's a lot of misinformation out there with regards to foreclosures and distressed sales. Do I think we're going to see more of them? Yes, we will. However, there's not that much. When I look at November of 2025 and I look at the number of foreclosures, there was only 21 foreclosures in 4 counties for single family homes. And that's over 11 in November of the prior year. So sure, we're going to be up 90.9%. So almost 91%. So if you hear foreclosures are up 91% on single family homes, yep, I guess that's true because there was only 11 of them in November of 2024 compared to 21 in 2025. So be careful about the data that you're listening to because there was only 21 properties that foreclosed in 4 counties that were single family homes in the entire month of November. Now, the number of short sale homes, that's up 125%, and that's because we had 9 that entered the market in November of 2025 compared to 4 in November of last year. So don't fall for the stuff that the sky is falling and everything's in foreclosure. Not true. Are we going to see some more foreclosures next year? Sure. I do believe we will. But keep in mind, we had 21 in the entire month of November for 4 counties. Now, let's talk about the condo and townhome market. I don't like that these are lumped together. I would really prefer to have condos broken separately from townhomes for a multitude of reasons. A lot of this ties back to Senate Bill 4D and all the things around the condo legislative sessions that have taken place and passed in prior years. But we're going to go over this data for townhomes and condos for the 4 counties in the Greater Tampa Bay metro market, which is going to include Hillsborough County, Pinellas County, Pasco County, and Hernando County. So in November, the number of closed sales for condos was 774 compared to 900 last year in November 2024. And that's down 14% this year in 2025 over last year. The number of cash buyers, that's also down 14.5%. But I will tell you, most of your sales were cash. So the ones that paid in cash were 378 compared to the overall 774. So that's a pretty high number. Means almost half of the people that bought a condo or townhome in the state of Florida paid cash for it in November of 2025. Your median home price is down 12% over last year, and it's coming in at $255,000 in November of 2025. Your average sales price, however, in November of 2025 is coming in at $328,453. Your total dollar volume for townhomes and condos in November is down 22.7% over last year, and it's coming in at $254.2 million. And the median percentage of original list price, that's down 1.4% over last year, coming in at 92.9%. So almost 93% of the list price is what condo sale owners got in the month of November for 2025 in Greater Tampa Bay and townhomes. The median time to contract, 61 days, and that is up 8.9% over last year, where it only took 56 days to get a contract on a condo or townhome. The median time to sale, relatively the same. We're coming in at 96 days to close as opposed to 95 in last year. And again, about half of those being in cash, that makes sense. The number of new pending sales, this is important to pay attention to because your closed home sales are coming in at 774, yet your pendings are coming in at 881. So there's still a pretty good amount of traffic, even though that's down 15.5% over last year. 881 people went under contract on a condo or townhome in November of 2025. The number of new listings came in at 1,357. And that's important because we have to look at that compared to the 774 that actually closed, because this affects your overall absorption rate. Your pending inventory for listings came in November for 1,194 went pending in November. And the total active properties on the market as it relates to condos and townhomes comes in at 6,689. Now, this is up 14.2% over last year, and so is our absorption rate. So last year, condos and townhomes in November was at a 5.1 month supply of homes, which meant it was on the tail end of a seller's market, not quite in a balanced market. This year, we're at a 6.6 month supply of homes, which means we are absolutely in a balanced market for condos and townhomes. And the year to date percentage change on closed sales, it's down 13.1% year to date over last year at this particular time. The cash sales are definitely something to pay attention to. They are a very big percentage of the market. And as always, I want to look at that dollar volume to give you an idea where the bulk of the sales are happening. When I look at closed sales for condos and townhomes for the month of November, there's there's quite a lot still in those lower price points, which are important to pay attention to. The price range that took the biggest hit, 43.7% down over last year, is the 250,000 to 299 price range. There was only 94 closed sales this year, which is down 43.7% over last year. And to give you an idea what some of the other ones look like, there's actually 4 properties out there that closed under 50,000. Surprisingly, we didn't have any for a very long time. You may remember 50,000 and 999. We had 43 homes that actually closed that were a condo or a townhome in that price range under that 100,000 mark. When you get to 100,000 to 149,999, we had 96 homes rather that actually closed. And that's a percentage change up. That's 26.3% over last year. So those condo numbers are improving a little bit. 150,000 to 199,999. That's exactly the same. We had 101 closed sales. I already told you 200 to 249. All the nines came in at 132 sales. From 250,000 to 299,999, 94 sales. And then once you get over 300,000, the 300 to 399, 149. That's down 19% over last year, but 149 homes closed in that price range. When you get from 400 to 599,999, there was only 83 homes that closed in the month of November, and that's down 12.6% over last year. 600,000 to just under a million, the 999,999 price point, 48 homes. That is down 40% over November of last year. And then the condos and townhomes over $1 million, 24 of them. That's how many we had closed in the month of November. That's down 38.5% year over year change for last year. Median time to contract, stuff's taking a little longer. It just is. And the other thing that I noticed when I looked at these trends, I was looking at the current inventory by list price. Most of the stuff is in that 300,000 to 399,999 price range. You had 1,023 in that particular price range, which were active current inventory for condos and townhomes here in the 4 counties for Tampa Bay, which is Hillsborough County, Pasco County, Pinellas County, and Hernando counties. So it's important just to pay attention to that. A couple of other little details. Most of the activity we're seeing again by the initial list price is that stuff from 250 to 399. That's the bulk of the activity in that particular price range. That's what's there. And then last but not least, let's talk about the condo market. The number of monthly distressed home sales in November. Because again, there's a lot of the sky is falling. But honestly, condos and townhomes, November of last year, 2024, we had 1 foreclosure and 1 short sale in 4 counties for an entire month of November. In November of this year in 2025, we had 4 foreclosures and 3 short sales. So sure, it's up 300% for foreclosures. That sounds terrible when you think about it, but 1 property for 4 counties last year compared to 4 properties that foreclosed, that's a pretty small number, my friends. And it's a very small percentage of an overall picture of what's going on. Again, do I think the condo market has a bigger impact over townhomes? Yes, they're lumping those together, but I think we will see those numbers rise as we move into 2026. But overall, we're still in a seller's market, believe it or not, the tail end of a seller's market on single family homes. And we're very much in a balanced market for condos and townhomes here in the Greater Tampa Bay area. If you have any questions about this market data, you want to know what it looks like in your particular community, which is really important. This is a very big snapshot area of what I just gave you. Real estate is hyper-local. Give me a call, shoot me a text. Let me run a market analysis for your particular home in your particular community, and I'll tell you what that looks like. I'll tell you how long you can expect to get a contract on your home, how many months it will take to sell, and roughly what I believe you could sell that home for in today's market. And my numbers are usually pretty accurate. They're pretty spot on. My off-air number is 813-377-2775. You can call me or text me at my off-air number, 813-377-2775, and I will give you accurate market data and information for your particular home. I'm Katrina Madewell. You're listening to Tampa Home Talk. Remember, love where you live or we're going to fix it. Welcome home.